So today we're going to talk about an issue, a conundrum of sorts that I really just even realized was a fact today. I'm I knew it, but I don't think I let it tickle my mind the way that it has today. So today we're going to talk about the fact that healing is not for everyone. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. That's a cold, hard fact. That's something that may sound a little mean, but healing is not for everyone. Healing is a choice that you have to continue to make, and everyone is not equipped at this moment to continue to making the choice to heal. Healing is not something that you can kind of have your feet halfway in, or dip your toe in the pond of healing, or kind of get your feet wet in the waters of healing. Healing is something that you have to dive into. You have to take the plunge. You have to jump off of the cliff and dive into the healing waters. You can't dip your toe in it. You can't sample it out. It'll never get done. If you don't make the conscious decision to choose healing, you could actually hurt yourself, because what you will end up doing is you will end up going back the opposite route twice as hard, twice as fast, full throttle, because you're trying to prove something to yourself at that point. At that point, you will be running off of your ego. And your ego is meant to save yourself. Your ego is in fight or flight. Your ego is fight or flight. So your ego really doesn't know the rule of caution. Your ego is full throttle, and it wants to win by all costs, by any means. So dipping your toe in healing but not fully committing reminds me of how they say that if you're on let's just say like the weight loss shot that is very popular now. There's a few versions of the weight loss shot, but there are some weight loss shots that are very popular right now in 2026. And they say that if you stop taking those shots, that you will gain that weight back plus twice as much, which is pretty much true for any type of weight loss program or any type of weight loss, anything. You can do it and you will have results. And as soon as you stop, then you may gain the weight that you lost. You'll gain that back, plus you'll gain more back as well. And that's the same way that your ego is set up the same way. If you only dip your toe in the waters of healing, you will end up running back to your same old chaotic, past, unhealed ways, full throttle. Your speed will be amped up. So healing As I said, healing is not for everyone. Healing is not for the weak. Healing is something that you have to make the conscious decision. You have to be courageous enough to leap off of that cliff. If you've ever, dove into a pool off of a diving board, off of a cliff, you dove into a body of water off of a cliff or anything, you have to kind of do it. You can't, if you don't jump far enough, or if you don't jump properly, you could hurt yourself. You could bump your head on the diving board. You could, there's many things that you can do if you don't just go full throttle and go ahead and do it. And when you sit up there too long thinking about it, halfway committing yourself, going halfway up the ladder, and then, paying attention to how far, you end up scaring yourself, so you're making your situation worse than it really has to be. Versus just like ripping the bandage off. Just go ahead and doing it. That's what healing is. That's not saying that healing is harsh, because healing, you have to take healing slow. Healing is a simmer. It's a slow simmer that has to be cooked over time. So healing is like a soul food Sunday meal. It's something that will take pretty much all day. You may have to start, marinating things the night before. You have to start that morning putting on, certain layers of the food. You have to cook your meat first, and then you cook your cornbread in order to make your dressing, and you have to do it in layers. You can't just do it all at once. You have to do it in layers, but you do have to commit to it. You can't have dressing if you just cook the cornbread. That's just a part of it. And when I say dressing, I mean like the Southern cornbread dressing. Cornbread is the main ingredient in it, so you definitely have to have the cornbread available, yes, but you can't just stop there. There's other steps that has to be taken before you can complete that dish. So healing is like a slow simmered soul food Sunday meal. So this is just something to remember. This is something to take into account when going on your healing journey. And it's also something to take into account when we're dealing with people that are not healed. Everyone is not equipped to go on that journey at this time. They may need to learn a few other lessons before they build up the courage to go on their journey. Healing is not for the weak. Healing is not for those that are scared and afraid. Healing is not for those that are dealing with issues of cowardness. Healing is for the strong at heart. Healing is for the resilient. Healing is for the wise. So this is something to remember. Give grace to yourself. Give grace to others, because everyone is not prepared nor ready to embark on the journey of healing. They're not quite able to withstand the temperatures of the healing waters. They didn't come prepared for that. Not at this time. That's not saying that they never will, but in this very moment, they just may not be ready. They haven't built up their strength yet. They haven't built up their courage yet. So allow them to go on their journey so that they can have those things, all of the prerequisites that are required before you go on the healing journey. Allow them to go through that. So as I said before, give yourself grace, give others grace, but just know that everyone is not prepared for healing. So healing is not for everyone. This is just something to keep in mind. So until next time, stay vigilant and let's heal.